Hi, welcome to my channel. It's Jess with Love to Plan with Jess. If this is your first time here, thank you for checking out my channel. And if you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. Today we are going to review the books that I read in December. Now, if you haven't had a chance to check out my 2024 reading journal setup, be sure to go watch that video. It shows how I set up my new journal for 2024. There's some changes in there. I also have another setup video for all of my other planners, so be sure to go check those out. Okay, so we're going to take a look at December. This is my December currently page. I have a habit tracker here. I read every day in December. However, I didn't read very many books. I only read 5 books this month and 1,306 pages. This is the least amount of books that I have read and least amount of pages I have read. December was a busy month with the holidays and travel and things like that. I also was sick and didn't read as much during that time too. This was my, I guess, lowest month of reading. Here is my monthly page where it shows the books that I read and how long it took me to read each one. As you can see, you know, there are some books that took a pretty long time to read, especially this last one took me, like a week and a half to read, and that's not typical. But it was over the holidays. We were traveling. We weren't at home for several of these days, so I didn't get quite as much reading in. All right, so now on to my bookshelf. I ran out of space on this page, so I had to create a second one. This was inspired by Mary Ellen from Planning with Bumble. She did something very similar for her bookshelf, and I loved it. I thought it was the cutest idea, so I created one for myself. In 2024, the bookshelf that I'm going to be using is something that I created on my computer, so it'll be a little bit different. Okay, now on to the reviews. So where do we start? We start here. So the first book that I read this month was My Daughter's Husband, and this book is a sequel to My Daughter's Boyfriend, and it takes place 5 years after this one ends. The main character has met an Englishman, and they get married, and you learn in the prologue, so this isn't really a spoiler at all, that the main character is suspected in her husband's death. This was a really good book. I liked it a lot. I gave it 4 stars, and the quote from this book was, "I guess a mother's love for her child really knows no bounds." The next book that I read, this was also a book in a series, The Doctor's Mistress. This was the 3rd book in this series, and I believe it just came out recently. This book starts with a main character living under a fake identity. She's essentially on the run because of crimes that she committed in the first 2 books. I won't go into them in case you haven't read this series yet and you want to. But she's basically starting over with her and her baby. The other main character also has a baby and is seeking revenge for Fern for putting her in jail. This was a thriller. I think every book that I read this month was a thriller, not surprisingly, because those are my favorites. I also gave this one 4 stars. I really liked this book. And my quote for this book was, "Walking away from the woman I had spent so long chasing felt surprisingly triumphant, like I was communicating to the universe that I was finally willing to let go of the past and move on with my life." All right, now the next 3 books that I read were part of a trilogy. These books were really fun. This was the Influencing trilogy, and the 3 books in this trilogy were Influence, Influencer, and Influenced. These were all thriller books. I gave all three of them 4 stars. And basically, in the beginning of the first book, there's a young woman. She's trying to make it as a social media influencer. Things look really bleak for her, but one day she gets this private message from somebody who says he works for a marketing company and he wants to work with her and can help her grow her social media presence and essentially make her, rich and famous. She ends up working for this man and he delivers as promised. She becomes a major influencer and gets to travel all over the world and makes tons of money. But she learns that if things seem too good to be true, then they probably are. And throughout the 3 books, there's all kinds of twists and turns, and this trilogy was really fun to read. So I have 3 different quotes, one for each book. The first one was, "Not all bosses are as crazy as mine, and not all employees are willing to do the things that I am." The quote that I have for the second book is, "Don't bleep with coconuts." That one, I guess you kind of have to read the book to really understand that one. And then the third one is, "Mental health is just as important as physical health. And if your happiness each day is entirely dependent on how many likes your selfie gets, then you've got your priorities all wrong and need to put your phone down before it's too late." So those were all of the books that I read for the month. My Reading A to Z challenge, I wasn't able to add any new ones here, and there are quite a few that I wasn't able to get. I have a reading challenge in my 2024 reading journal, and hopefully I'll be able to get all of the letters in the alphabet covered next year. And the final page in here is the books and pages read. And as you can see, December was my lowest month of books and pages read. So that is my recap for my December reading journal. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I had for December. If you have any book recommendations, I would love to hear them. And I'll see you next time. Bye.